They call him Seatin, the man of legends.
Hey guys, what is up? It is Seatin here. Hello and welcome. On today's video, we're going to be having a look at the Archery skill set in the upcoming MMORPG known as Archeage. I am ridiculously excited to try out this skill set. Marksman and Hunter have always been one of my favourite classes and playstyles, purely due to the fact that you can move and fire arrows, which is always awesome, and I find that an insanely fun way of playing the game. So we're going to jump straight into it. I have made an archer character, and he is called Deaden, and just looking at sort of the ability previews, this class looks pretty damn hot. So we're going to create this character, confirm the customization, and enter the world of Archeage. We appear to be starting on the continent known as Nuia, so we're going to see how that goes for us. Going to skip the cutscenes because they unfortunately all still seem to be in Korean, but once as another reminder, guys, this is alpha for Archeage in the east or west, I don't know which region, basically the English version of Archeage, and there may be a few bugs, glitches, and Korean text here and there, but that is what the alpha is for. It is for testing the game and making sure none of these bugs persist. So, okay, we have entered in a pond, a very, interesting place to spawn in an MMO, but why not? I missed the cutscene, so I kind of missed the reason why we are in the pond, but let's accept this quest from Maud and head over here. So, one thing you'll notice on the ground is the red number 1 telling us where we need to go. So let's do that. Let's use Shift 1 to use the sprint ability to get there a tad faster. And it looks like we need to talk to Woodcutter Gallagher and receive his reward and accept his quest. Now let's see what he wants us to do for his quest. And report to Mayor. Okay, there's a lot of reporting to people going on here. So let's, while we're on our way to report to this mayor guy who seems pretty important, well, he is mayor after all, let's fire off a few arrows and see what that gets us. So it appears the main skill we have at the moment is called Charged Bolt. Let's see what we have to do for that. Don't actually have to charge it. So it looks like kind of the starter level where archery gameplay involves alternating 2 and 3. 2 is your kind of standard archery shot, and 3 is your big archery shot. So this is pretty cool. And it feels very fluent. It feels like I'm firing off the arrows. I love the sound effects, the ping back. It all feels pretty good so far, so I'm quite impressed. And it's just very satisfying how the little arrows just fly and gradually take the health down. I'm a big fan of the animations and movement in this game. It's really cool. Okay, so killing foxes, which I feel is a bit, I know it's a bit of a cheap shot on my behalf. Those foxes seem pretty damn defenseless, and I just butchered them. So let's talk to this guy, Gossiper Parish. I'll accept your quest, good sir, and see where we're going. So I need to listen to his prophecy, or this guy up his prophecy actually. So let's Shift 1 to sprint down there again and see what he has to say. Okay, so who are we talking to now? This guy, okay, wonderful. And he didn't have too much to say, the mayor. Doesn't seem like a very merry mayor, you know, he's just sitting on that tree stump. He looks pretty sad for a mayor. I don't see how he got elected. Doesn't seem to be surrounded by too many people or too popular. So, oh, I love that you can just sit on that tree stump. That's pretty cool that you can just interact with the world like that. I don't know many other games that just have like this much interaction with the world in their starting areas. So that's pretty damn cool. Let's pick up that item, see what that does. Dagger display. Nope. Okay, so let's talk to the Pan. On the way home from the fields, he ran into a girl named Marion, and he wants us to essentially find her. I presume so, or report her in this case, actually. So we've actually been tasked with collecting 4 bits of boar meat, so let's go and do that now. Go out into the open world. Now, one thing I really like is that instead of like in World of Warcraft or Rift or Star Wars, when you run through an enemy, there's no collision at all. in Archeage, you physically cannot run through a person or an enemy. There is collision. It's like you're running into a wall. So it just makes everything feel a bit more solid, which is pretty cool. So let's go and kill some boars, shoot them up, kite this guy around a bit, and it appears that I'm quite... Even the sort of standard run attack is enough to kind of successfully kite a boar if you're doing it right. I don't know if mobs have sort of different speeds. I assume, because I've seen quite a few debuffs and buffs in this game, that certain enemies will move faster than others when it comes to kiting, so it's going to be a bit difficult when it comes to, you know, sort of higher level mobs. But it looks like we've unlocked one skill point to get our next ability, which is Piercing Shot, which appears to be a damage over time and bleed ability. So let's drag that to number 4 on our bars and put that down, and then beat up some boars again. So let's put the dot. The dot doesn't appear to... actually, it does have a cooldown. It has a 12-second cooldown and appears to be pretty damn powerful. It just totally rang through that boar. So let's just see how much of this boar's health that ability will do alone. So it looks like... Wow, that's pretty crazy damage in comparison to the boar's health. So let's see if I just continue to kite him. Will it fully kill him? Or... I mean, it's taken a good 80% of his health, so I'd say that dot is pretty bloody powerful, which is awesome. Okay, so I can take this guy out, give him a few shots, and then go on to the next ball. Hit him with the slightly bigger shot, and then kite him around a bit. So literally, players who can, you know, have a bit of skill and can kite mobs, I think they're going to have a lot of fun with the archery class and skill system. It seems like it's going to be really awesome. So I'm really excited to see how this delves and sort of further expands at higher levels. Am I going to get traps? Am I going to get abilities to increase my speed? Am I going to get abilities to decrease their speed? So let's actually open the spellbook. I believe we can have a look at that. It is K the shortcut. So at level 10, I get something called Snare, which I can snare... one of my enemies who walks into the trap. I'm not entirely sure. Let's have a look. Snare the feet of an enemy within 5 meters. So it's kind of like if something gets close, I can trap it and then run away, which is pretty awesome. And then I have double recurve, which increases my range damage and lasts 30 minutes, and that appears to be a buff. I have Deadeye, which increases ranged attack and lasts 10 seconds, so that appears to be some sort of combat buff which I can toggle and use whenever I'm standing still for increased damage, so it looks like this class benefits from standing still. And then I have Stalker's Mark, which deals range damage and marks enemies for 15 seconds, increasing damage received. So that's kind of like a heavy damaging spell, which also has a debuff component. And holy shit, what is this? Float. Lifts caster into the air for 12 seconds, increasing the range damage of skills. What? That sounds crazy. Oh my god. So you just kind of fly up in the air for 12 seconds. Do I like get to fly around like I'm gliding, or... That's going to be really interesting. And the next one I have is Bone Mark. Targets an enemy and deals a certain amount of magic damage to that enemy and all enemies within 5 meters. And summons a prison of bone to hold them. That looks pretty cool, but apparently if you attack that prison of bone, it will destroy it and the enemy will be released. Then we have Concussive Arrow, which fires an arrow that explodes on contact, dealing magical damage and shackling all enemies within 6 meters of the target for 3.5 seconds, and it always hits apparently. Then we have Missile Rain, which showers a distant target area with arrows, dealing a large amount of range damage. And then we have Intensity, which increases ranged critical rate for 30 seconds, grants additional bloodthirst for every basic bow attack, toxic shot, piercing shot, and pretty much all your shots. So that appears to be a fairly strong DPS cooldown. that increases your crit chance. So, I believe, guys, that is it for a very, very basic and quick look at the archery sort of skill set in Archeage. I'll be doing a bit more on archery as soon as I level it up. I'm fairly torn between this and the sorcery at the moment in regards to what to choose as my class or skill set of choice to level up. So I think I'm going to play around with the both a bit more. I'm sort of leaning towards the archery for the mobility, but I kind of do like all the magical effects, and I'm very, very torn up between the two classes. But regardless of which, guys, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and maybe leave a nice comment. These are my first sort of Archeage videos, so if you have any requests at all, slap them in the comments below, and I will be sure to read them and hopefully fulfill any requests that you have. Thank you once again for watching, guys, and take care.